Hello everyone and welcome to the Future Forum by BMW Welt. My name is Martin and I'm really glad you're joining us today for this live stream right here from our studio at the Future Forum at BMW Welt in Munich, Germany. Now, the Future Forum is a platform that invites visionaries and experts from different backgrounds and industries to discuss future topics and promote an open dialogue with the audience. And this week, we travel the globe for BMW Group's Sustainable Manufacturing Week to discuss topics like how to create really sustainable value in manufacturing. We'll talk about social responsibility, green energy, and the circular economy. And today, we will focus on sustainability in manufacturing, which is quite a complex challenge. So it can be approached at different levels. You can approach it at the product level, then you have the process and the system levels. You could maybe even also approach it using sustainability methods. Reduce, reuse, and then recycle. Reduce the amount of water, energy, and resources consumed. Reuse products and components, and then recycle the materials. And you can take it even further. You can add recover, remanufacture, and redesign. So, what are the best ways to improve sustainability in manufacturing and how to measure it? That's what we're going to talk about in this session, and we have fantastic guests for that. And I would like to invite you to participate. So please do send us your questions in the comments, and we have time reserved at the end to answer as many of these questions as possible. So let me start by introducing our panel today. And first, I'd like to welcome Christina Frank. She was a public prosecutor and a judge at the Munich Regional Court. She currently acts as professional municipal councillor for the city of Munich. And in this function, she is responsible for the forward-looking design of the city's land supply policy and its activities in the area of municipal real estate. And in addition, and that's very interesting for our discussion today, she's also head of various municipal enterprises, including the Municipal Waste Company. Christina, so good to have you. How are you?
Good to see you. Hello, everybody.
And then we're going to Regensburg and welcome René Kran. He started his career at Audi in Ingolstadt, then moved on to join Continental's predecessor Siemens Video Automotive. And then he held various management positions at Continental in the engine systems business unit, where his last position was head of industrial engineering. And now, since December 2019, he is the site and plant manager for Continental in Regensburg. René, hi. Servus.
Hi, Martin. Servus.
And joining us also is Armin Ebner. He is an electrical engineer by training who joined BMW Group in 1997. And after various management positions at the BMW Group plants in Dingolfing, Roslin, South Africa, and Regensburg, he took over management of the assembly technology right here in Munich. And since May 2021, he's responsible for the production system, digitization planning, and operational excellence of the BMW Group. So the right person to talk to today. Hello, Armin.
Hello, good afternoon.
All right, so let's dive right into it. Armin, let me start with you. I just said in my introduction, reduce, reuse, recycle, we all know this, and BMW Group wants to be the most sustainable premium manufacturer for individual mobility. That's quite ambitious. So tell us, what does sustainability and circularity actually mean for a product in the automotive sector, and especially for the manufacturing process?
Clearly, as you mentioned, Martin, our clear goal is a green vehicle needs green production as well. And therefore, our clear goal is sustainable and clean production. The BMW Group in that wants to lead the way to a more sustainable production, to more sustainable production processes by keeping the resource consumption in our processes at an absolute minimum. This is not just the CO2 emissions. We also focus on energy, on water consumption, the usage usage of new raw material, and also the amount of waste we send for disposal, for example. And between 2006 and 2020, we already reduced the amount of resources we need for a vehicle by more than 50%. And our basic principle, and you mentioned this in your introduction, is definitely reducing the amount of resources we need and then recycling and compensation. And currently we are challenging these along the whole value chain within BMW, starting in the supply chain, in production then, but also in the lifetime of the vehicle. And therefore you mentioned the circularity. We'd like to do this within the product, within the resources. This thinking of circularity has to be in the center of our thinking, and clearly also in our production processes.
Thank you, Armin. And now when we talk to a manufacturer, we obviously have to talk to a supplier as well. So René, when we look at Continental is convinced that sustainable and responsible business increases the ability to innovate and meet the future. That's what I read on the website. So innovation through sustainability. And in 2019, your plant in Regensburg actually received the Green Plant label in gold. So you're pretty far ahead in terms of the industry. And when I go to you personally, I read on your LinkedIn profile, you said, I'm passionate about the digital transformation of electronics manufacturing. So does this passion actually help you drive sustainability in manufacturing at Continental?
Of course, Martin. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today, and I'm really glad that I can participate in this event. And of course, yeah, we reached this Green Plant label gold. It's an award for sustainable production, but also sustainable site management. And perhaps also something to mention, we have established new buildings here, office buildings that follow the LEED standard, which is a standard for a particular sustainable concepts, using also material out of the region, having a better look into the energy consumption of the building with regards to conditioning, air conditioning, but also certain standards how to operate that building. So, but of course, as the site Regensburg is only just a little piece of our international global production network, it's not just us here in Regensburg. We have a roadmap for the global footprint of our plants, how we bring all these plants up to carbon neutrality. And I have to say that it is really an imminent part of our philosophy and also corporate strategy that we want to become a sustainable company. Since 2020, Continental has already been sourcing 100% of the electricity from renewable sources in all Continental production sites worldwide. And from 2022 on, Continental will make its direct business for emission-free mobility completely carbon neutral. So we want to have not only emission-free mobility products, but we also want to produce them in a carbon neutral way. And by 2040, all Continental production will be carbon neutral. That's our declared goal. By 2050, at latest, Continental will have 100% climate neutral value chains, 100% emission-free mobility in industry, and 100% circular economy. And of course, also that also belongs to the total picture, 100% responsible value chains. So we don't just consider that as our responsibility, but of course, we also following our valued customers, also BMW being one of them, in the sustainability strategy, because of course, sustainability is becoming more and more also prerequisite for new business to acquire. And we do the same, we apply the same standards, of course, then subsequently downstream in our supply chain to our sub-suppliers.
It's wonderful to hear. Now, Christina, we just heard from the private sector. They're doing quite a lot. So let's look at the cities. I mean, 70% of emissions are produced within cities. 50% of global waste is created within cities. And now we have the EU Green Deal, and that promotes the efficient use of resources by moving to a clean circular economy. sounds easier than it is actually to do that. But tell us about the status of Munich's circular economy as such a big city in Germany and Europe, and you also have a zero waste strategy. So what is the city and its municipal corporations doing to support moving to a circular economy?
Yeah, well, we're doing quite a lot as well, but I'm glad to hear that it's not only about us, but about everybody. We have we here in Munich, we want to be carbon neutral for the city's administration by 2030. For this, of course, big steps are still necessary. But first of all, from our point of view, the best waste is such that isn't produced at all. And to achieve that goal, we need to install a circular economy in Munich, or in short CE, as I would call it. It's extremely important, and there is a EU action plan regarding CE implemented, and it consists of 3 pillars. And this is product design and measures for product design. For example, improving durability, of course, reusability, of course, or the repairability of goods. The second pillar is the empowerment of the consumer, so the other side of the platform, giving the consumer reliable information, legal support, and teach them a little bit. And the third pillar is the waste prevention, in order to reduce the waste targets we're going to meet. And to develop a zero waste strategy is, of course, for us as AWM Abfallwirtschaftsbetrieb München, as a municipal waste manager, most important. And you already said it: reduce, reuse, or recycle. This is for the zero waste strategy, for the zero waste approach, extremely important. Our process started off in 2019 in Munich's town hall. We organized a hearing with different experts, with politicians, and everybody was able to discuss deeply, to share their ideas, and to really get together working on that broad issue. Many partnerships were formed in 2019, and this said, we organized a couple of zero waste workshops in the last couple of months. Different partakers participated, companies as well as NGOs, of course, the administrations, politicians, citizens. So more than 400 people came together. Our aim is to significantly reduce municipal waste and residual waste. And our ideas that were created in these workshops are now evaluated and condensed by our zero waste core team and by the renowned Wuppertal Institute. So there's still a lot of work to do, but in spring 2022, we will consult Munich's City Council and provide our zero waste program. And of course, we will have facilities, institutions, companies, and citizens involved on this way. And I happily invite all of you to share your ideas, to take part in this program and in this process, because there's still so much to do, and everybody of us can look at himself, at herself, and say, okay, what can I do? What is my personal aim, and what do I want to achieve, and how can I do it?
Absolutely, I absolutely support that. Now, I mean, BMW Group is a global company. You are active in 140 countries, have 31 different international production locations. So what are the challenges? How do the local regulations, when we talk about the public sector, regulations and conditions, help or maybe challenge your efforts for sustainable manufacturing? Just as an example, maybe for example, the availability of renewable energy, which might not be for granted in every region for the plants around the globe. So what are your challenges in cooperating with the public sector?
You're right, and you mentioned we've got a lot of sites all around the world. And we would like to develop our complete production network to reduce the amount of CO2 with minus 80% in the whole network until 2030. And for that, clearly, we have standards we use in each and every plant. But we don't follow these principles like one size fits all in every plant. And I can give you some examples. We've got, for example, in our joint venture plant in Tichy, we use 140,000 square meters of solar power. And we do so as well in other plants like in Oxford, Rayong, and so on. But we also have local solutions. For example, Dingolfing, I think it was you might know in AWM as well, because it's a collaboration with Munich. We are using the two hydro plants for getting the power for our Dingolfing plant. And this is locally sourced and a special unique solution for the plant in Dingolfing. We have similar things in South Africa, where we have a very special energy source. We've got a biogas plant that's been sourced by the manner of 30,000 cattle that is already around the plant in different forms, and we can use that. And so you see, we have global standards for our production network, but we use them in clever combination with local conditions where we can source energy on our way to a CO2 neutral and CO2 free production. And clearly, with every new plant, for example, like our new plant in Debrecen, we set the pillar a little bit forward. The North Star is getting a little bit forward. And our plant in Debrecen, as I mentioned, will be 100% CO2 free from the beginning. We have different processes there to get completely CO2 free. And therefore, we develop the whole production network all around the world with specific solutions forward.
Now, I take this to be the implementation of think global, act local. That we talked about this a lot this week, how this is a BMW Group strategy. And René, you also talked about Continental also being a global company and having so many different locations, which is a very diverse landscape, I imagine. So sustainability in general can be a key driver for innovation. But it sounds so easy. So what are really the biggest obstacles and challenges for you at Continental when it comes to implementing sustainability measures at the different locations?
Yeah, I mean, obstacles, of course. I mean, as a global player, we also have to deal with different local and regional regulations. Of course, I mean, we're not just operating in Germany as BMW, we're a global company. And of course, as a supplier, I have to say, we are also dealing with a big variety of different customers. Them also having different kind of regulations, and when it comes to specifications for packaging, to come back a bit into the manufacturing world, that's also something which is a big challenge for us, having to manage all these global supply chains with the different specification, making them fit into our production, but also satisfying the local regulations as well, our customer specifications, of course. But in general, I would say we are dealing with that very nicely. We have also 4 stages, basically, that we are following in our global network, and also many things of them, of course, also being implemented here in Regensburg, in Oberpfalz. We use renewable energy also in manufacturing, producing our own electricity here with solar power, but also with gas power. We are basically helping us a bit to reduce our consumption or the need from external supply. We have also second stage, what we truly believe in before getting to the next level of sustainability and innovation. It absolutely makes sense to continuously improve our energy efficiency. And here in particular in our production site, we are piloting different kinds of softwares and concepts where we try to have an intelligent, smart load and power management of our production equipment, of our buildings, of all our facilities and infrastructure in here, using also artificial intelligence to predict profiles of energy consumption and to steer a bit our overall consumption profile. And that also is then linking into our infrastructure for charging of e-vehicles, which is a nice combination of getting into an intelligent grid also in our small microcosmos here in our plant. The third thing is, of course, we also followed and we introduced sustainable materials and following also, as mentioned before by the previous speakers, circular concepts within our manufacturing. And as a fourth stage, we followed the principle of elimination of the majority of waste, of course. Reducing waste is the primary goal also here, reaching then eventually a circularity in the entire supply chain, also with our sub-suppliers. In order to not just having a few people being involved in this initiative and this entire endeavor, we implemented a principle of energy scouts that are people that having trained in the field of sustainability are part of our departments overall across the board in the site. And they also contribute with ideas in a sense of continuous improvement to our sustainability strategy.
Christina, we just heard from two global companies how much they're doing, how they're trying to reduce resource usage, reduce energy and water consumption. But what can the public sector do? And you talked about partnerships before, collaboration. So how can the public sector really support the private sector in reducing resource usage?
Well, there are actually different ways. First of all, we can provide spaces to meet, to network, to come together. And our newest achievement is Munich Urban CoLab, which is the result of a wonderful collaboration between Unternehmertum, which was founded, by the way, by major BMW shareholder Susanne Klatten, and the city of Munich. Together, we built a new innovation and business creation center in the middle of Munich, in the heart of Munich. And we are working there for smart city solutions together with companies. Key topics are mobility, for sure, and sustainability. Startups can work there, share their ideas. We can have corporate innovators around us, scientists, creatives from all over the world. And thus we interconnect people in a very unique way under a wonderful architecture. And under this one roof, we work on intelligent technologies, services for the city of the future. And second, we can advise companies and we can advise on different topics. Of course, we can advise on sustainability as well. As part of our eco-profit program, for example, we guide every company with the aim of saving resources and with the aim to avoid waste. And this we operate as a public-private partnership. So everybody works close together, the local government and the corporation partners, the companies, their staff. And this, at the moment, works especially good for greening companies, very small businesses, or medium enterprises. Each year, more than 14,000 tons of carbon dioxide are thus avoided, and I think that's really a good step ahead. And on 2 decades, we are working on this program right now, and the participating companies use their potential even more now. They have a management who normally thinks very much about sustainability, who adopt a wide range of measures to improve energy and resource efficiency, and who enhance biodiversity as well. For further development of this program is very important, because at the moment we have very different companies engaging in our program, and they need special programs which fit absolutely on their self. For example, we've got many companies in the tourism area, or very many small companies, which maybe have a different standing in the world of enterprises than BMW or Continental, and they need much more help and this is what we want to achieve. For example, we worked with Sky, a big TV supplier in Germany, in Europe, with the Munich Philharmonics, with the bank Donner and Reuschel, with the University Hospital Klinikum Rechts der Isar, or with one of our leading universities here in Munich with LMU. And we need to do much more because not many companies have the time to work on these issues. They work on their themes, they work on their business. But I think it's really important that we reach every company and that we don't focus only on those companies which come to us, but we need to go to the companies and say, well, let's go this way together.
Well, that's wonderful news. Thank you for sharing. I mean, obviously, we know to have a decarbonized economy and society, we need integrated ecosystems. And we just heard about the partnerships that the public sector is offering. So how important are partnerships for BMW Group? And can you give us some examples of what you're doing right now?
Yes, you're 100% right. These partnerships, they are very, very important for us. I would like to give you two examples. The one is, maybe you know Catena X. We're working together with other OEMs, IT partners, and NT suppliers to set up a common database where we can revolutionize, so to say, the process chain, the supply chain. And this will help us to improve the energy, the amount of material transported around the globe tremendously. This is just one example, but I'd like to give you another one. Looking at a special process within our production process, we have in our paint jobs, we've got this overspray we need to filter out of the air. In the past, we did this with heat and water, and with some partners, we could develop a new process to do this in a dry way. So we call this a dry purging process. And together with these partners, we innovated a new way of getting this overspray out of our paint job processes. And in a second step, this material, this limestone meal, that's the leftovers, so to say, the disposal. Together with another partner, we developed a company that could use exactly that. For us, it was initially waste, but we could, together with another partner, make this a new raw material which can be used for a type of filler material. And so together, innovation and sustainability, and you mentioned that before, they are very close together, because sometimes sustainability needs innovation, and sometimes innovation enables a sustainable way forward. And this we always do with partners, and this close interlink is very interesting and brings, I think, many parties together a huge step forward.
It's fantastic, and certainly the partnerships also help accelerate these innovations. René, can you share with us the collaborations Continental has and what you're doing in that area?
Sure, Martin. I mean, we're also engaged in many diverse associations and associations that want to promote sustainability and take us ahead. But I would like to refer a bit to what Christina said. For me personally, now having the let's say the responsibility here for the site in Regensburg, I would really emphasize that every site manager is very much depending on the collaboration with his local authorities, with his municipalities, and the players that are regional here very much engaged in the topic of sustainability. And that's also a very important partnership for us, because we have to remember, I mean, the headline of this event here is, of course, sustainable manufacturing. But if we look into our CO2 carbon footprint, we see that the manufacturing of our overall site is really, to be honest, a minor portion of the emissions that we generate. Compared to the logistics that we have, that's probably even factored 3 to 10 more than the pure manufacturing. The commuting of our people, even the company pool cars of our employees, here and there create more emissions than the pure manufacturing. And that shows us that we have to definitely accelerate expanding our view on, in the sense and the framework of the greenhouse gas protocol, very quickly from scope 1 and 2 to 3, in order to eventually really become carbon neutral. And if we are not getting a bit and gaining speed here, we will not be able to just manage that in the area of manufacturing. And that's why we are in contact with our local authorities to talk about clever mobility concepts for our people, leaving the company, coming to the company every day. Also be combining that with desk sharing and mobile work, of course, in order to reduce also a bit the traffic that's generated by commuting. And I truly would like to campaign that every sustainable facility has also to be embedded in a sustainable region. Otherwise, we will not be successful eventually.
You're absolutely right. We need that holistic approach. We're almost out of time, but I do want to get a last question in. Christina, I'll start with you. Tell me, what's your personal vision, and maybe please give us a short answer. What's your personal vision for a sustainable future on a global and a local level?
Okay, I'm trying to be very short, which is sometimes hard for a politician. But my vision is all about saving grey energy. My real estate department recycles demolition waste and produces so-called R-concrete. And with this way, we save, as it comes to transportation, 92,000 truck trips just by building our new buildings in the former Bayern Kaserne. So this is a distance, 92,000 truck trips, twice around the world. And this is saved just by using the construction debris we have on site already. And this is what I'm really interested about, using much more R-concrete, not only as the city of Munich, but for more of our contractors and for much more property developers.
Wow, and that will have a huge impact. Thank you very much. René, what's your personal vision?
Yeah, my personal vision is eventually, I mean, as I mentioned early on, to fulfill our corporate strategy with regards to getting or to coming to the level of a fully carbon neutral manufacturing. But as I said, we will only manage to get there involving our entire workforce and also collaborating, as I mentioned before, with our local partners here and embed, as I said, sustainable factories in a sustainable region.
And Armin, what is your personal vision for BMW Group's sustainable future?
To me personally, sustainability is one of the biggest challenges for our society, for our industry economy, and for our common future, to be honest. And with BMW made a big step forward. And to me, it's personally, it's a great challenge together with the whole BMW team to drive this way forward. We are shaping our future, to be honest. And it's a great task to be part of that, shaping this future.
Very well said. Thank you. I mean, we're all shaping our future together and needs every one of us. Thank you very much for sharing your insights, your visions, and your experiences at this point. And now we will start with our questions from the audience. And I want to ask Mel if we have any questions. Mel, are you there? She can't hear me. She can't see me. Oh, there she is. Hi, Mel. So, do we have any questions from the audience? I cannot hear you. I don't know if we can hear you.
No.
No, we can't hear you. Still no sound. We can see your mouth moving, but maybe you can just put up some notes. Yeah, we can read them off.
Hello.
Yeah, now we can hear you. Wonderful. There you are.
Hi.
Okay, hi, Mel.
Hi, I'm sorry for that. I hope you can hear me well now.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. It was very interesting, and we received interesting questions as well. Um, I will start with the first one, which personally fits very well to our concept and to our session yesterday. So I'm very interested in to hear your opinions. Innovation and technologies make the production more efficient and most of the time more sustainable. Regarding social sustainability, how important are the people working at the plants? How important is social sustainability at your production sites?
Really important. Thank you for that question. Just to clarify for our panel, yesterday we talked about corporate social responsibility and especially how it involves people. And Armin, maybe you want to comment on that.
Yes. Uh, of course, today we focused on a very specific part of responsibility, sustainability. Clearly, sustainability includes more than just energy, resources, and waste. Also, our people, the people working with us, are a huge factor in our system, and we definitely take care of them. And innovation and sustainability comes also in line with when we do ergonomic studies in our plants, when we develop with innovation, as we mentioned, the working places, the tacts we work in. We develop all this further also with the aspect of our social responsibility for our associates. And I would possibly cover another aspect of social responsibility combined with sustainability. For example, if we come to plants like Mexico, we don't have an existing system with RVM in Mexico where we can get our disposals used or our waste used again. And there we develop with local companies exactly what I mentioned before. We develop a way that the materials that would be waste with us can be used as raw materials as well. So we take this social responsibility in a very broad aspect, focusing on people in our plants, but also our social responsibility within the area we are working. And together with Munich, I think we've got several projects we have together with the city of Munich, with the surrounding of our plant in Munich. I've been there for 4 years, and we had this relationship with the council of Munich to be a social responsible partner of the area we live in. And yeah, this we're taking definitely this broad aspect, this full aspect. Today, yes, we're focused on sustainability of resources and energy, but clearly we take this as a full aspect.
René, do you want to add to that?
To add to that, I mean, there's also many things that we do here in Continental. Overall, of course, taking care about the people, but also making sure that they can combine their profession with taking care of their families. There's a lot of things we do with regards to kids programs, family and friends programs, and these kind of things. I think many big companies do that. There's two things that I would like to put a bit of emphasis on. Of course, last year, all of us had to manage a huge crisis with regard to the corona pandemic. I mean, we as Continental at that time invested also a lot of effort to making the workplaces or people in particular in the shop floor safe. There were many things that we did in terms of organization as many big companies, but we also used our competencies in digitization industry 4.0 to also use virtual technologies in the shop floor to keep distance and to safeguard and ensure the safety of our people in the shop floor. That was a big program that was also piloted in our facility in Regensburg and then rolled out in the global network. And I think that's also a big part of our company's DNA to take care about the people and make sure that they can have a safe workplace also in these difficult times. A second thing that is very important for us, also going a bit along the way of the concept of Industry 4.0, is We want to also have at least slight attempts to have flexibility in the shop floor, not for the sake of the company only, but also giving an opportunity to the people that they in the shop floor using and having a certain autonomy of selection of shifts and also the length of the shifts, that they can somehow interact with us through an app where they can also bring their private and family requirements better together, what we expecting them in terms of our shift planning. And here we also have a very collaborative concept with our Works Council, where we try to use apps and algorithms and software to generate a benefit for us as a company, but also generate a benefit for our employees in terms of flexibility, also in the production.
Mel, let's get in a few more questions. Do you have more?
Yes, sure, I have
All
many.
right.
Thank you so much. So, okay, this one is for Christina. Are you in exchange with other cities all over the world and their processes or innovation regarding sustainability and waste management and cooperations with other companies? Is there a city that serves as a good role model for Munich?
So let me say a few things about this. There's a very interesting program in the EU called Eurocities. So we meet with different greater cities from all around Europe, normally each year, to share our experience, to share our opinions, and to share our ideas. And this is actually a very good place to be because of course, Munich is the best city in the world, for sure. Yeah, maybe Regensburg is also very nice. I mean, that's absolutely fine. But we always think that we can already do so much, that we achieved so much, but we can still do better. And we need to have a broader horizon. And for example, Lissabon does a very good job about municipal waste management. And I would have never guessed that in Portugal, in the south of Europe, there would be a city which deals maybe a little bit better with this topic than we do.
Wow, impressive. Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed either. So, Mel, 3 minutes. I think we can at least tackle one more question.
Okay. I will choose to say, how important is cooperation in the case of production? Is there any exchange of knowledge between the companies? I think what they really meant, because we discussed about cooperation as partnerships, was more if you cooperate also with competitors.
Well, you want to keep your IP, right? I mean, any?
Well, I mentioned that just before. If you look at this Catena X, that we do together with other OEMs. That's a European initiative where we all together, OEMs, different sub-suppliers, IT companies, work together on a new way for data exchange in Europe, and that's a platform where we share information. Clearly, we don't share it, but there's always an intellectual property. But we use the same base amongst competitors for a way forward. And clearly, if that's for the better thing, we work together. Yes, we do. We do. Clearly, we do.
I guess we all share this
Great.
the common goal. So, René, do you have any examples of cooperations with competitors?
Well, I mean, competitors, perhaps not so much. Of course, there's an exchange as long as it's not about competitive information, that's clear. But I mean, sustainability is something that is important for all of us, for the generations to come. Of course, there's collaboration, but I would truly believe that it is very important for us as a supplier, a tier one supplier in the majority of the cases, that we can collaborate with our customers, with our big OEM automotive customers. As I mentioned before, because many things are somehow driven by specifications of the products, but also requirements that we have in our supply chain, just packaging specifications to be mentioned as one of those elements. And only if we are able to have a common understanding and a good collaboration between the OEMs, us here on the tier one sector, and then subsequently with our sub-suppliers, then we will be able to have really consistent, carbon neutral and sustainable supply chains globally.
Mel, I'm tempted
Great.
to ask you for one more question. We're almost out of time, but 1 minute. Okay, quick answers.
Okay. What are the biggest challenges to achieving your goals of a circular economy, and how are you planning to overcome them? Maybe you just can say in bullet points, answer in bullet points.
It doesn't sound like a question that's easy to answer, but maybe, Armin, you want to start?
Yeah, today we focused on production. For me, circularity starts in the design phase. We have to design circularity into our products. That's
Mhm.
because then we can cover the whole chain from the product through production to the lifetime of the vehicle. And that we need to stop.
Wonderful. René?
Well, not really something to add to that, but I mean, besides products, we also have to design in circularity in our production equipment to come back a bit into the manufacturing environment. And here, there's many things that we can do also in terms of reusing equipment. There's not always the necessity to completely build up a new equipment from scratch. There's also many things we can do in reusing existing parts of equipment and also using monitoring systems that help us to understand the consumption of individual components within a production equipment to replace them by greener technology. And that's also something we're doing here.
Christina, quick last statement. Circular economy in Munich.
I think it's a combination of various aspects, like giving a good example as the city of Munich, providing important incentives companies might need. Sometimes also think about bans, like the current plastic ban we now have in the EU. But circular economy and zero waste cannot be implemented just from above. We need smart consumers making the right decisions and smart choices. And of course, then I'm very, very excited how many manufacturers will react.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mel, for these questions, and thank you, the audience, for sending these questions in. And as Christina just said, well, we need smart people, smart choices. We had so many smart. I heard about smart projects today, and we had really, really good panelists. Thank you all. Thank you, Christina. Thank you, René. Thank you, Armin, for taking the time for being here and sharing your experiences and insights about this topic. Now, I want to invite you, if you liked this session today, to join the next session here at the Future Forum, and that's on the 15th of July at 5 p.m. And we'll talk about quantum computing. Quite interesting topic. And if you want to be kept up to date, subscribe to our Future Forum newsletter. So once again, thank you, Christina, René, Armin. Big thank you to the team here making all of this possible. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and goodbye.